All eyes are on him. December 5th, ladies and gentlemen, at the AT&T Stadium, the one and only Errol Spence Jr. defending his titles against Danny Swift Garcia. Welcome to the show, man. What up, Earl?
Appreciate it, man. Happy to be here.
Oh, what's up, bro?
Yo, hey, Earl, first of all, by the grace of God, I'm happy to see you here, brother.
Appreciate it.
I want to say I haven't seen you since the accident, and I know you made it through that, and you standing strong, and you returning to the world. But I want to say I'm happy to see you straight, you solid, you back into your passion, and we all looking forward to seeing you fight December 5th. So thank you for coming on Bridgebizness.
Appreciate that, man. Nothing but a blessing.
Ain't nothing but a blessing, man. How before we get into boxing, how do you see life differently now since then?
Man, first of all, man, being 30 years of age and, being on top of the world, the boxing world, you think you're invincible. Being a young guy, you think, nothing can happen to you and things like that. But once something really happened to you that's life altering, it changed your perspective on life, spending more time with your mother, your father, your kids, setting stuff up for them, just in case, I used to not think about setting anything up because I thought it was a jinx. But now, I got to set things up just in case, something tragic happens and, I'm not here anymore. I want to make sure, my kids and my family still good because I'm the breadwinner. So, it's just things like that and just spending more time with, my loved ones.
Hey, Errol, on December 5th, what can we expect from Errol Spence? Is the truth going to show up? Because, since the accident, people have been questioning you. Did you physically, handle punches? What can we expect December 5th?
I mean, you can expect what you always been getting, the same Errol Spence, the truth. I've been putting in major work in the gym, man. I've been 100% focused. I think I'm more focused in this training camp than past training camps just because, the accident and stuff like that. So I've been in the gym working, man. I'm not, usually I only take 9-10 weeks, for a training camp. But I've been in the gym, working nonstop since I didn't even have a fight, just training, getting back to, ground zero. So people can expect from me an action-packed fight. Me dictating the pace and basically, becoming, still WBC and IBF champion of the world.
Yeah.
Come on. Go ahead, talk. Go ahead, Horace.
Hey, congratulations, too, on the newborn. Congratulations on your newborn also, man. Congratulations for that, man.
Appreciate that.
Earl, I love you. You're one of my favorite boxers, man. We've been having you come on the morning show for years now. I remember before people recognized your star, I was already on you, on your neck, trying to figure out what's next. Danny Swift Garcia. Let's talk about Danny. Danny's lost 2 fights. Both of those fights, people argue that they could have been a draw or went either way. I'm not sure how you feel about that. But when you fought, I want to say Kell Brook, you had been off for about 9 to 10 months. I remember we talked about that. And you got into that fight, you jumped into the ring, and you was doing your thing, but even you said after the fight, your timing was off. You had a lot of ring rust. You didn't realize how much it would affect you, when you talked to us about it. You haven't fought since Shawn Porter. And to Horse's point, you're coming off of this accident, and that was even longer. Are you concerned about ring rust? This is Danny Swift Garcia. This is not someone you got to be ready for this, Earl.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like not at all because I feel like I was green when I fought Kell Brook. That was my first world title fight. I was fighting in somebody else's hometown, going overseas, fighting my first world title fight, taking 9-10 months off. I feel like, I was real green at the time and, I still came out to victory. Some people, I feel like it's certain fighters and certain just athletes, period, they got that it factor. When time crunches, can they bring it out? Certain guys like the Michael and LeBron and, Tom Brady and guys like that. And I feel like I had the it, no matter circumstances or, what presents, what presents itself, in the situation, I'm coming out on top. So I just feel like, whatever Danny Garcia comes with, still not going to be enough to handle me.
You hear that, Horace? Tell him what Danny said when we talked to Danny, Horace. Talk to Earl, man.
Oh, Danny said you in for a fight, man. You in for a dog fight, man. He said you in for a dog fight. I mean, this is a fight that I definitely wanted to see. But Errol, I want to ask you a question about your last fight with Shawn. How did you rate your performance?
I feel like it was good, but I feel like my coaches had a game plan that that wasn't my game plan because from the start of training camp, my main focus was I'm gonna fight his fight and I'm gonna just fight. It's gonna be what it's gonna be. So my coach and everybody else wanted me to box, and I could easily outbox him and move and basically deal what I wanted to do with him. But I wanted to fight his fight. I wanted to beat him at his own fight. So, that's what I did. So I rated, it was good because, basically was in a dog fight with him and came out on top of his own game plan.
So that's basically what's great about seeing you fight that fight, because it seemed like you had a different game plan going in there. But as a boxer, you made the right adjustments. It seemed like you made your punches a little shorter, and it was the short right uppercut that caught him that really hit him. And it seemed like you started shortening up your punches. You shortened up the ring a little bit in the later rounds. And I felt that was something that you did. It wasn't something that your corner did. I felt that your corner wanted you to box more, but you was just wanting to show the world that, I could dog fight too. I can get down.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Because Shawn had it coming in that, I've never been in a dog fight. He don't have a dog in him and things like that. And that's something I'm just born with. I don't have to ever be in a dog fight. It's just something that, God gifted me with. So when it comes down to it, I can get in a dog fight easy, and I can exchange shots, and I can give them too and take them too. So, I just showed him that, I'm a dog just like him. But, it's back to, just being smart and doing what I do best and just win and, get home to my family.
And get home to his family. The champ is here. I'm loving it, man. I'm loving it. December the 5th, it's all going down. I want to go back. You said something really interesting. And Errol Spence Jr., one thing about you're very subtle in the way you talk shit, but you still manage to talk your shit. I like that. And you compared yourself, you made a parallel between Michael Jordan, you said LeBron James, you named all of these people with the it factor, the best in their sport. That's how you see yourself now. You feel like you reached that pinnacle where you can be compared to the LeBron James and the Michael Jordans.
Definitely. When it comes to boxing, definitely. I feel like, right now, I feel like, I'm one of the best in boxing. It's finally time for me to prove it because I didn't get that chance, when I was calling everybody out and, trying to fight everybody. It was telling me to prove myself first and go get a belt and do this and do that. But now, I feel like tables are turned and, they trying to they asking me for fights, Keith Thurman, begging me for fights, and Shawn Porter want to fight me still, and Danny Garcia came to the ring to fight and want to fight me. So, these guys still, these guys now, asking me for fights instead of, me running to them, trying to get a fight. So, it's just up to me to, prove that, I am the best out here and I am a pound for pound great.
So everybody you named, Keith Thurman, Shawn Porter, Danny Swift Garcia, at one point in your career, you was asking them for fights and they didn't give you the fight?
Yeah, I was asking them for fights, all the time, saying I'll fight them. They was basically telling me to go prove myself. Go get the belt first. Go prove yourself. Go do this. Go do that. Because I came in way before them, about 5 years before them. So I was still, relatively new compared to them. They was all fighting each other and, fighting on TV, main event, and, fighting for world titles and things like that. So I feel like they didn't want to let, the new guy in.
So, no, go ahead, Horace. Go ahead, man.
I wanted to ask you a question. Being a champ, when you got the belt and everything, did the fame and stuff go to your head? Like, did the fame? Did you start partying a little bit more? Start being around more stars? Did something change in your life when you became the champ?
Yeah, I think partying and hanging out a little bit more than than usual. Yeah, I ain't really hang around any stars like that. I hang around people I've been rocking with. So, it probably still just hanging out, being with friends and things like that. And it started taking longer and longer out of my training. Like I'll fight and then I'll take like a week off and then be back in the gym. But then it got to like 2 weeks, then a month, then a month and a half, then 2 months, then 3 months. Then it got to the point to, man, I ain't going back to the gym until I got to fight. So, it got to that point. But, we just got back to the, to the groundwork and got back to what got me to this point. And that's basically, being in the gym and, always doing something, and it's just not, living regular and just, chilling on the couch and doing nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Good. You don't drink no more, right?
No, I'm good on that.
Okay, no weed, no drink, none of that?
Nah, I ain't never smoked.
Okay, you never smoked. Errol Spence Jr., the champ, is here. It's good hearing this evolution, man. It's almost sometimes when you make it out through the storm, you become better, bigger, more evolved than you always were. And so when I've been listening to you speak, man, I could really appreciate it having known you for so long. But I want to get back to Danny for a second because that's what we're all waiting to see. We're waiting to see how you're going to respond in the ring. Danny right now, this fight is so important to his career because if he doesn't walk away victorious, a lot of doors might slam. It might be harder for Danny to get another fight of this magnitude if he ever does again. This isn't an easy fight. Like, you could have picked somebody else in this division. Who else were you guys thinking about before you selected Danny? And then why did you pick Danny?
I wouldn't think about anybody because basically I was supposed to fight him before the accident, January 17th, and then the accident happened, and then I was like, I'm gonna still fight Danny Garcia. I don't want no tune-up, So my whole thing was, and nobody argued with me. They didn't say nothing. They was like, all right, I just felt like Danny Garcia is gonna push me and take me to the next level that I was supposed to be on. And I feel like, fighting a tune-up is going to keep me stagnant, and it's still going to be questions, about myself that, especially if I knock him out first round, second round, he's going to be like, he was supposed to do that. We didn't see him get hit. We didn't see him do nothing, So it's still questions out there. So I feel like, fight a guy like Danny Garcia, he's going to answer all the questions that people have, that I already know because I already been in sparring and things like that, and I already been hitting, different things like that. So my coach and my dad and them, they already know those answers, but, the public don't know those answers. So, I just feel like Danny Garcia the best opponent for that, and he's going to raise my game and keep me focused because if I fighting a Joe Blow, I probably wouldn't, I think I still train as hard because, me coming back from an accident, but I wouldn't train, as hard if I was fighting somebody like Danny Garcia. Because I feel like, I'm fighting Danny, and Danny's going to come with it. His back against the wall, too.
Yeah.
For real.
Yeah.
He's going to come with it.
Hey, Errol, do you feel like this is the biggest fight of your career right now? Knowing that you're coming back from an accident, people doubting if you can really take a punch, and you're fighting in Texas, your hometown. So do you feel like you have more pressure on you to show and prove that, I'm the real deal, I'm the truth?
This is the second biggest fight of my career. I don't feel like this is the biggest fight of my career. I feel like the Kell Brook fight was the biggest fight of my career because
you got the belt.
Yeah, I got the belt. I beat a guy overseas, and that's when I really started making money. So if I lost the Kell Brook fight, it would have been no Danny Garcia fight probably. I wouldn't have made all the money that I made, and, I wouldn't have the accolades that I have, and going overseas and fighting a guy like Kell Brook and beating him in his hometown. So, I just feel like this fight is just important because, this is coming from my accident. And like I said, people have a lot of questions about me, it's still up in the air about me, opposed to, strangers and fans and things like that. So I feel like this fight is very important, especially I'm fighting at home in front of my home crowd, family and friends. So, I got to put on a great show and a great performance and, come out on top. So, I'm especially anxious, to get this victory.
Errol Spence Jr., the champ is here. The champ is here, man. Man, one of the things you talked about, and I love this part of the conversation, is you talked about Kell Brook fight being your biggest fight. because then it's when your pay grade went up. You start getting bigger purses at the end of the fight. Now you live in great, you live in large, but you're living in a different tax bracket. And we've heard story after story of boxers who lost all their money, you know, they're broke now, they made millions of dollars and they only got fragments of it. They didn't know what to do with it. If you can you share with us what you've learned about business now, the business of boxing and even business beyond, now that you're making more money? What kind of things are you doing with it?
Well, for me, like, even my manager, Al, like, he was basically, you know, it was crazy because now, like, I appreciate it, but back then he used to talk to me about retirement and, you know, life after retirement and, you know, basically, you know, setting up different things for me and stuff like that. And I used to be like, man, what you talking about? Like, and this is when I was just going to sign with him. So I'm like, man, what he talking about? Like, I'm 21, 22 years old. He talking about retirement. And that's one of the reasons that, you know, my dad really wanted to sign with him too, because he was like, my dad, it was like, you're not thinking about the bigger picture. Like, you need to sign with Al because he's thinking about, you know, he's not thinking about right now. He's thinking about later on.
Mm-hmm.
You know? And then I was, you know, I just took my dad's advice for it and just went with it. But for me, 21, 22, I was like, man, I don't know what they talking about, like, later on. But now I really appreciate it because, you know, I got certain things set up and, you know, certain things set up for my kids when they get older, when they go to college and things like that. And I got retirement and other things set up in place where, you know, a lot of guys, especially in boxing, where it's so cutthroat, you know, guys, managers and promoters don't really, you know, care about the fighters like that and don't, you know, they don't care where their money going. They just giving their money and, you know, they can do whatever with it. They don't care. They be dead broke, living check to check. And that's one thing that, you know, I didn't want to be. I didn't want to be one of those guys, you know, that live fight to fight. And as soon as I get a check, you know, it's gone. And then I'm asking and calling out for a fight and things like that. Like, you know, it's to the point where, you know, I'm secure. I live in a ranch, you know, 70 acres, and, you know, I pay with all my exemptions and things like that. I probably pay, you know, $5,000 a year, you know, on taxes, on property taxes, stuff like that. So,
wow,
you know, it just, you know, it's certain stuff like that. And I mean, $5,000 a year, $7,000 a year, I can, you know, I can live on here forever. So, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, and where I'm staying at now, you know, the land is prominent in its front property too. So it can, you know, it'll easy sell for, you know, what I bought it for. So, you know, it's just certain stuff like that, and it's just making certain moves like that, you know, I appreciate, you know, my manager and my parents and things like that who just taught me different things and, you know, just made me smarter and wiser and realizing that, you know, that cars depreciate and other crap depreciate that you buy and all this materialistic stuff just depreciate, you know, as soon as you get it. So, you know, main thing is, you know, you save your money and, you know, invest it and, you know, just put it somewhere. So when you get older, because, I mean, we box what, till we 35, 30 to be lucky, 32. Then, you know, your career over. You got another life to live. So, I mean, what you gonna do after that? Work at McDonald's or something like that? So, you know, I want my money to work for me. You know, so try to take advantage of it, you know, while I have it now. You know, I'm getting the money now, I'm having it now, so why not let it work for me so, you know, I can live great. My kids can live great. Like I said, I got a month-year-old son, so, you know, he gonna want things, and he gonna be used to things that, you know, that most, you know, kids, you know, his age, you know, and his color not used to.
I love that. You like that horse? I love that.
Errol Spence, love that, man. Hey, Errol, what part of Long Island was you born in, man?
Brentwood.
Brentwood. Shout Brentwood out sometime. Get him some love, man.
Run on Brentwood.
Shout out Brentwood, man.
Hey, man, I don't want to keep you too much longer, but a couple of things I wanted to ask you. You know, we've heard a lot of conversation about you and Terence Crawford. You and I have been talking about that since 2016, 15, you know, the possibility of unifying all the belts. and having that one unified welterweight champion. That was a goal of yours. Back then, you always said, man, I just want to bring all the belts together, be the unified champion. And we just recently heard what you were talking about promoters and managers don't really care about these boxers. Now, I know Terence is your opponent. I've seen you and Terence clash in public and go back and forth, and it went viral, and I love that because y'all both talk the best shit. You know, neither one of you have ever lost, so it's the greatest thing to see.
Fight, you know, it can't happen. We'll see, but you know, first I gotta get past Danny Garcia.
Yeah,
if I don't get past Danny Garcia.
December 5th, baby. December 5th, baby.
Focus on Danny.
You focus on Danny, but Terence could happen down the line. You've been talking Canelo. You know, I've been hearing this conversation about Canelo, but you hear anything back from Canelo camp?
They said something on like social media, like it'll be tricky because the weight, and I guess he fight 168 right now. Something about him, it's hard for him to make 160. But I feel like if Jamal can make 160, he can make 160 because Jamal big as hell.
You think, I mean, he's Canelo. He's never ran from anyone. We can see his track record, but you think they might be a little concerned about dropping weight and then meeting you at that place? That it might make him too weak.
Nah. You know, I mean, like you said, Canelo, he'll fight anybody. So, you know, I just feel like, you know, they got other plans right now, but I mean, I feel like, you know, they'll definitely, you know, decide, you know, if they want to fight or not, probably later on.
After the 5th, after December 5th, man, the phone gonna be ringing crazy, Errol. Come on, after December 5th, man, after you put up, come on, man, that phone gonna be ringing like crazy. The truth is here. Everything is ready to go, man. After Saturday, man, you got to line him up.
He's gonna be ringing off the hook.
Gonna ring up the hook, man.
Hey, man. Well, look, champ, I want to thank you for being our guest on Bridgebizness. I'm happy to see you, Earl. I'm really happy that you're doing well and that you got it together. You know, and you know, God make things happen for a reason. So good luck on the ring on December the 5th. And you know, this is it, man. This is for history, man. You want to say anything in closing?
No, I just appreciate y'all having me, man. Everybody tune in December 5th, order it on Fox pay-per-view, or come to the fight at the AT&T Stadium. December 5th is going to be a great show, a great performance. My return, I'm back, and I'm here to stay.
There it is, Errol Spence Jr., the champ of Bridgebizness.
Dundee.